You see, the biggest mistake you're making right now is you're running someone else's race. You're looking to your left and your right, watching their progress, their path, their pace, and you're wondering why you keep tripping. Let me tell you something right now. Comparison is the thief of your destiny. You were built different, called to a unique journey, and created with specific gifts. You gotta understand, what God has for them ain't what He's got for you. So stop scrolling, stop comparing, and start focusing. This ain't a relay race. You're not waiting for somebody to pass you a baton. This is your race. And when you try to run it like them, you lose your breath, you lose your rhythm, and you lose your why. Run your race with blinders on, lock in, zone out the noise. They might get success at 20, and you might not get yours until 40. But that's okay, because your story will hit different. Your story will inspire people differently. Why? Because it's authentic. It's yours. So today, stop trying to be somebody you weren't created to be. Own your lane. Trust the process. Run your race like your life depends on it, because it does. You wake up every morning with a goal in mind, a dream you're chasing. But the moment you grab your phone, you see someone else doing it better. They've got the car, the followers, the body, the business, the applause. And right there, pool, without even realizing, you start questioning your own progress. You start wondering, why am I not there yet? And that moment right there is where your momentum gets robbed. That's the moment when comparison sneaks in and begins to quietly kill your progress. See, here's the truth. Comparison is a silent assassin. It doesn't come loudly, it's quiet. It starts with a glance, turns into a thought, and before you know it, it becomes a belief. That belief says, I'm not good enough, I'm not moving fast enough, I'm not as gifted, I'm behind. And let me tell you something. Those thoughts don't just stay thoughts, they become actions. Or worse, inaction. You start hesitating, you start doubting, you slow down, you second guess every move. You delay the start, you procrastinate on your greatness. You no longer run with conviction because now you're trying to fit someone else's pace, someone else's pattern, someone else's purpose. You got to focus on your lane. Like for real, you have to lock in. Because when you're looking at their race, you're taking your eyes off your path. When you're watching them, you're not building you. And let me break this down for you. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know what they gave up. You don't know the nights they cried, the hours they bled, the pain they pushed through. You're comparing your chapter 3 to their chapter 25. It's not fair to you. And it's definitely not wise. You know what happens in races? The runner who keeps looking to the side, they slow down. They slow down. They break rhythm. They lose momentum. And sometimes they trip, not because they're not good, not because they weren't ready, but because they stopped focusing. They let distraction take over direction. That's what comparison does. It breaks your rhythm. It throws you off course. It makes you waste energy on battles that aren't even yours to fight. When you start comparing, you're putting your energy in the wrong place. Instead of using your strength to build your dream, you start using it to chase somebody else's image. And let me tell you the danger in that. When you try to be somebody else, the world loses you. You weren't created to be a copy. You were created to be original. You got a specific fingerprint, a unique design, a voice nobody else can replicate. But the moment you start running their race, you abandon your own identity. You silence your own story. You begin to live for validation, not vision. You've got to protect your progress by guarding your focus. You've got to fight every single day to run your race. Not your cousins, not your friends, not the influencers. Yours, because your race is where the blessing is. Your lane is where the growth happens. Your story is where your power lives. And let me be real with you. Just because you're not seeing fast results doesn't mean you're not making real progress. The seed has to grow roots before it breaks the ground. Just because they're blooming doesn't mean you'll bury it. You're just building the foundation that's going to hold what you're about to walk into. But if you keep looking around, if you keep scrolling, if you keep comparing, you'll quit too soon. You'll start planting a different crop that wasn't even meant for your soil. And when it doesn't grow, you'll blame God. You'll think you're cursed. No, you're not cursed. You're just confused. You've been watering someone else's garden when you were supposed to cultivate your own. You've been listening to voices that don't know you are calling. You've been chasing images that don't match your mission. And now you're tired, frustrated, lost, because you're not in alignment with your assignment. The enemy doesn't always come with destruction. Sometimes he comes with distraction. And comparison is one of his favorite tools, because he knows that if you stay focused, you're dangerous. He knows if you stay locked in on your gift, you're unstoppable. So what does he do? He puts distractions in front of you. And you think it's just a scroll, just a glance, just a post. But it becomes a pattern, and patterns become prisons. You need to break free from that. You need to wake up every day and declare, I'm running my race. I'm focused on my goals. I'm walking in my purpose. I don't care who's ahead of me. I don't care how fast they're moving. My pace is perfect for my path. I'm not late. I'm not behind. I'm exactly where I need to be. You got to say that with conviction. You got to believe it with your whole chest. Because the moment you do, everything changes. You stop feeling rushed. You stop feeling insecure. You stop chasing perfection and start chasing progress. You stop trying to impress and start trying to impact. You stop asking, what are they doing? And start asking, what am I building? That shift right there, that's freedom. That's power. That's when you become dangerous, because now your energy is right. Now your intention is aligned. Now you're no longer competing. You're creating. And when you create from your lane, from your truth, from your fire, you become unstoppable. You begin to attract everything meant for you. The right people, the right opportunities, the right time. And it all starts because you stop looking left and right and you looked within. Let them run their race. Let them shine. Let them move fast. You don't need their spotlight. You've got your own lane. And when you own it, when you work it, when you grind in it like your life depends on it, you'll find fulfillment like never before. You'll find peace, purpose, and power, because you weren't born to blend in. You were born to stand up, stand tall, stand firm in your purpose, on your path, at your pace. So from this day forward, I don't want you watching anybody else. I want you to wake up and say, let's get it. It's my time. It's my lane. It's my race. And I'm running it like a champion, because the truth is, you are one. You just needed to stop looking around long enough to remember it. Now go get it. Run your race. And don't stop until you cross that finish line with your head held high, knowing you gave it everything you had. Every single person on this planet was created with a purpose, with a calling that no one else can fulfill in the exact same way. You were not born by accident. You didn't show up here randomly. There's something in you, a gift, a mission, a set of experiences, and a perspective that was intentionally placed in you by God. And when he gave you that, he also gave you a race to run that is unique to you. The problem is, too many of us forget that. Too many of us start looking around and think we need to run someone else's race, live someone else's story, chase someone else's dream. But hear me loud and clear. God gave you a race designed specifically for your gift. That means your path is going to look different. Your journey is going to be shaped by your unique background, by your tribe, by your victories, and yes, even your pain. But that's not a disadvantage. That's what gives your race power. What you've been through, what you survived, what you overcome. That's part of the design. God didn't make a mistake when he mapped out your path. He didn't overlook you. He didn't shortchange you. He crafted your race with your gift in mind. But the world will try to distract you. The world will show you highlight reels from everybody else's life. It will tempt you to believe that you're behind, that you're missing something, that you need to be more like them. And when you start believing that lie, you stop trusting the gift inside you. You start downplaying what you've been called to do. You start trying to mold your life to fit into someone else's blueprint. Let me break this down for you. If God gave you the gift of encouragement, don't try to be a motivational speaker just because that's what's trending. If he gave you the gift of listening, don't try to lead on a stage when you were meant to lead one-on-one. If he gave you the gift of teaching, don't waste it trying to be an entertainer. We waste so much time trying to be what the world applauds, and we forget that God called us to be what the world needs. See, when God gives you a gift, he expects you to use it, to grow it, to honor it. But more importantly, he expects you to run with it. That's your race. That's your lane. You're not here to duplicate what someone else is doing. You're here to activate your gift in the way that only you can. There are people waiting on your voice. There are lives connected to your obedience. There are doors that will only open when you stop trying to be them and start being you. And don't think for 1 second that your gift isn't enough. That's another lie. That's another lie. What was smarter, louder, richer, more connected? No, God doesn't make mistakes. What he gave you is enough. The way you love people, that's a gift. The way you break down complex problems, that's a gift. The way you never quit even when life knocks you down again and again, that's a gift. The enemy wants to convince you that your gift is too small, that your story doesn't matter. But that's because he knows that once you truly embrace your race, you become unstoppable. There's no power in imitation. There's no breakthrough in pretending. Real breakthrough comes when you step into who God called you to be. That's when things start to shift. That's when doors open that no man can shut. That's when peace enters your life because you're no longer wrestling with identity. You're aligned with your destiny. Now, I'm not saying your race is going to be easy. I'm not saying that everything's going to be smooth and that people are going to understand you. Truth is, some people won't. Some people will doubt you. Some people will question your path, but that's okay. They weren't assigned to your race. They don't need to get it. You need to get it. You need to believe that what's in you was put there on purpose and with purpose and with purpose. The sooner you stop asking for permission and start walking in conviction, the sooner your life will begin to move. Too many people are waiting for approval to run their race. But let me tell you something. God already gave you the green light. You just have to stop pressing the brakes every time someone else doesn't understand your pace. Every time someone else moves ahead, don't question your route. Your lane is built for your breakthrough. Let me tell you about people who honored the race they were given. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't try to be Malcolm X. Mother Teresa didn't try to be Oprah. Eric Thomas didn't try to be Tony Robbins. They embraced their gift. They ran their race. And because of that, they changed lives. They moved the world. They didn't try to be viral. They tried to be valuable. And that's the difference. That's where legacy is born. Stop looking around. Stop thinking you got to adjust your gift to fit in. Your gift wasn't meant to fit. It was meant to stand out. You were wired with something that this world desperately needs. But if you keep chasing someone else's success, you'll end up forfeiting your own assignment. And listen, your race might be longer. Your process might take more time. But that doesn't mean it's any less important. Just because your blessing is delayed doesn't mean it's denied. Just because the world doesn't clap when you take a step doesn't mean heaven didn't notice. You don't need everyone to see it. You just need to be faithful to it. Day in, day out, step by step, one decision at a time. That's how you win. That's how you grow. That's how you honor the gift God gave you. Because here's the truth. When you get to the end of your life, God's not going to ask you why you weren't more like them. He's going to ask you why you weren't more like you. Why you didn't use what he gave you. Why you buried your gift out of fear, insecurity, or comparison. That's the moment you want to be able to say, I ran my race. I didn't copy. I didn't chase trends. I showed up every day in the lane you gave me. So today, I want you to make a decision, a real one. Decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer run someone else's race. Decide that you will walk in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's slow, even when nobody notices. Because the gift God gave you is not just about you. It's about everyone who's going to be touched, changed, and inspired because you had the courage to run your race with your gift. Oh. So go. Stop hesitating. Stop shrinking. Stop comparing. Run like your life depends on it because your legacy does. In a world obsessed with image, filters, likes, and trends, it's easy to forget the power of authenticity. Everywhere you look, someone is trying to become a version of something that they think will be accepted, applauded, or admired. But here's the truth. The most powerful, most inspiring, and most impactful thing you can ever be is yourself. In a world full of copies, authenticity always wins. I don't care how shiny their profile looks, how perfect their path seems, or how loud their platform is. If it's not real, it won't last. I'm telling you from experience. Authenticity always beats imitation. The problem is, we live in a society that rewards performance over purpose. It teaches you to package yourself in a way that pleases others, rather than standing firm in who you truly are. And over time, you start to bend, you start to shrink, You start to edit the real you until there's nothing left but a reflection of what you think people want to see. And before you know it, you're exhausted, not because you're working hard, but because you're pretending hard. You're tired because it takes energy to be fake. It takes strength to perform all the time. But you weren't built to be a performer. You were built to be a purpose carrier. There's power in being raw. There's power in being real. And there's unmatched strength in showing up as you. Not the polished version, not the filtered version, not the socially acceptable version, but the true you. The one that has flaws, scars, imperfections, and story. Because when people see your truth, they connect to your humanity. That's what moves people. Not the image of perfection, but the reality of perseverance. I know people who have everything, the looks, the followers, the money, but they're empty. Why? Because they built a life on imitation. They've chased trends, mimicked others, and built success on what's popular instead of what's purposeful. And let me tell you something. Popularity fades, friends change, but truth stands. It withstands pressure, time, and testing. And when your life is rooted in authenticity, you don't have to perform. You just live, you just breathe, you just flow in who you were created to be. But too many of us are scared of being authentic. Why? Because we think our real self isn't enough. We think if people see the real us, the broken parts, the mistakes, the uncertainties, they'll walk away. But let me flip that on you. The right people will be drawn to your truth. The people who are meant for your tribe, for your journey, for your legacy, they will be pulled not to your perfection, but to your authenticity. The moment you stop pretending is the moment you start attracting what's real. And hear me, I'm not saying being real means being reckless. I'm not saying be messy and loud and call it authenticity. No, I'm saying be honest. Be honest about where you are. Be honest about what you feel. Be honest about what you want. That's where freedom begins. That's where clarity lives. That's where peace grows. Because when you're honest with yourself, you stop wasting time trying to please people who don't even know the real you. There's something divine about walking in your truth. There's something unshakable about living from a place of alignment. When you know who you are and you have the courage to walk in it, nothing can stop you. Criticism can't shake you. Rejection can't break you. Failure can't define you. Because your identity is rooted in truth, not approval. You're not depending on applause to validate your value. You're not depending on likes to prove your purpose. You're walking in the confidence that comes from being aligned with who God created you to be. But if you keep chasing imitation, you'll always feel insecure. That's the trap. When you try to be someone else, you're always competing. You're always comparing. You're always questioning. But when you're being you, there's no competition because nobody else can be you better than you. That's the magic. That's the edge. That's the advantage. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be bigger. You just need to be realer, more grounded, more aligned, more authentic. Think about the people who have impacted your life the most. The ones who made you pause. The ones who spoke to your soul. They weren't perfect. They weren't flashy. They were real. They spoke from pain. They shared their flaws. They let you see behind the curtain. And because they were real, they gave you permission to be real too. That's what authenticity does. It gives others the courage to be honest with themselves. You have no idea how powerful your story is until you start sharing it. You have no idea how impactful your struggle can be until you stop hiding it. Somebody out there is waiting for your truth, not your version of somebody else. They're waiting for you. And every day you spend trying to imitate someone else is a day you rob the world of your unique light. Every minute you spend pretending is a minute your purpose stays paused. Authenticity is scary because it requires vulnerability. It requires you to take off the mask, to let people see the myths, the doubts, the fears. But it's also the only path to real connection. You can't be truly loved if you're never truly seen. And you can't be seen if you're always wearing a mask. If you want freedom, if you want peace, if you want deep joy, it starts with the decision to be you unapologetically, consistently, and truthfully. And let me tell you, when you start walking in authenticity, you're going to lose some people. That's okay. Let them go. Because they were connected to the version of you that wasn't real. That's rising now. The authentic you is going to attract better, more aligned, more genuine, more purposeful. Don't be afraid of shedding what's fake in order to step into what's true. The journey to authenticity isn't easy, but it's worth it. You'll wrestle with doubt. You'll question your worth. But every time you choose to be real over being liked, you grow. Every time you show up as you win. And the more you practice authenticity, the stronger it becomes. It stops being scary. It starts being natural. And eventually, it becomes your superpower. So here's my challenge to you. Stop chasing copies. Stop mimicking what works for them. Stop trying to sound like, look like, or move like someone else. You don't need a duplicate destiny. You need to own your divine design. Your voice, your journey, your truth. That's your gift to the world. It's time to stop shrinking. It's time to stop performing. It's time to be you. Because in the end, the world doesn't need another version of them. It needs the one and only, fully alive, fully present, fully authentic you. There's something powerful that happens when you stop chasing the applause and start chasing your purpose. When you no longer live for the cheers of the crowd, but instead move according to a deeper mission, a fire that burns inside of you. That's when you begin to walk in real power. That's when you begin to unlock your calling. The world will always try to pull you into performance mode, to get you addicted to attention, to get you wrapped up in what people think, what they like, what they want. But if you're not careful, you'll end up living your whole life trying to impress people who don't even know you, don't even care about you. Can't do anything for your destiny, Stop chasing applause and start chasing purpose. See, applause is loud, but it's shallow. It feels good, but it fades fast. It can fill your ego, but it can't fulfill your soul. And the problem is, if you live for applause, you'll die in silence. Because the moment people stop clapping, you'll stop moving. You'll stop believing. You'll stop grinding. You'll start questioning yourself. You'll start doubting your value. Why? Because your worth was tied to their approval, not your assignment. You've got to break free from that. You were not created to live for compliments. You were created to complete a calling. Purpose is deeper than performance. Purpose doesn't always get a standing ovation. Purpose doesn't always trend. Purpose doesn't always go viral. But purpose has power. Purpose has weight. Purpose has eternal value. When you chase purpose, you can wake up even when nobody notices. You can grind even when nobody claps. You can serve even when nobody says thank you, because you know you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for something bigger than them. You're doing it for the impact. You're doing it for the legacy. You're doing it for the one who gave you the gift in the first place. When you live for applause, you become a prisoner to people's opinions. One day they love you, the next day they cancel you. One moment you're the hero, the next you're forgotten. But when you live for purpose, you're anchored. You don't sway with the winds of opinion. You don't shift with every trend. You stay grounded, consistent, faithful, because you know who you are. You know what you're here to do. And you're not moved by hype. You're moved by conviction. And I get it. Applause feels good. Recognition feels good. We all want to feel seen, valued, respected. There's nothing wrong with appreciation. The danger is when it becomes your fuel. Because when that becomes your motivation, you'll start changing your message to match what people want to hear. You'll start adjusting your gift to get more likes. You'll dilute your truth just to be accepted. And that's how you lose your authenticity. That's how you drift away from the very thing that made you unique in the first place. Purpose doesn't need an audience. It needs obedience. Sometimes purpose looks like grinding in silence. Sometimes it looks like being faithful when no one's watching. Sometimes it means showing up even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when the results don't match the effort, because you're driven by something internal, not external. That's the difference. Applause is about reaction. Purpose is about mission. You gotta ask yourself, am I doing this because I want people to like me, or because I'm called to do it? Am I showing up because I want attention, or because I believe in the assignment? Because if it's about the crowd, you'll burn out. If it's about validation, you'll always feel empty. But if it's about the why, if it's about the impact, if it's about living a life of meaning, that will carry you through storms, silent setbacks, and seasons of struggle. And let me keep it real. Purpose is not glamorous all the time. Sometimes purpose is painful. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it requires you to go against the grain, to speak when others stay silent, to stand when others sit down. But that's the cost of living for something bigger than yourself. That's the price of legacy. That's what separates people who impress from people who impress from people who impact. Applause might get you noticed, but purpose will make you necessary. Purpose is what makes your name echo long after you're gone. Purpose is what creates change, heals people, builds movements, inspires generations. But it takes courage. It takes focus. It takes focus. It takes letting go of your need to be seen and embracing the call to serve. And trust me, when you shift your life from seeking praise to seeking purpose, your joy increases, your peace increases, your clarity increases. When you're chasing applause, you're always anxious. You're constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering what they think, wondering if you're doing enough, wondering if they approve. But when you're walking in purpose, you're free, you're focused, you're fulfilled, because you're not trying to impress anyone, you're just trying to be faithful. Think about the greatest people in history, the ones who made real impact. Most of them weren't applauded in their time. Some were hated, misunderstood, mocked, but they stayed the course. They chased their purpose. And now, generations later, we celebrate their lives. Not because they followed trends, but because they followed truth, because they stood for something, because they lived on mission. You have that same ability, but you gotta choose it. Every day, you gotta choose whether you're gonna live for the cheers or for the cause. Are you gonna spend your energy trying to be popular or trying to be powerful in your purpose? Because real power doesn't come from applause. It comes from alignment. It comes from knowing who you are, why you're here, and refusing to settle for anything less. And let me tell you something beautiful. When you chase purpose long enough, the applause will come, but it won't control you. It'll be confirmation, not validation. It'll be encouragement, not necessity. You'll appreciate it, but you won't depend on it. That's real maturity. That's real strength. That's what it means to walk with confidence in your calling. So today, make the decision. Shut down the noise. Step away from the pressure to perform. Forget about trying to be impressive and focus on being impactful. The world doesn't need another performer. It needs people purpose. People who wake up with fire in their soul. People who show up with conviction in their heart. People who live not for approval, but for assignment. Don't let the volume of the crowd distract you from the voice of your calling. Don't let the temporary thrill of being seen make you lose sight of your long-term vision. The claps will come and go. The spotlight will fade. But your purpose, that's eternal. That's what will echo in the lives of everyone you touch. Stop chasing applause. Start chasing purpose. And watch how your life begins to shift from being performative to powerful. Watch how your energy changes. Watch how your relationships evolve. Watch how your confidence grows. Because when you finally stop needing the world to see you and start showing up as the person God called you to be, that's when you become unstoppable. There's something powerful that happens when you put your blinders on. When you make the conscious decision to zone in, to block out the noise, to drown out the distractions. Say, this is my race, this is my purpose, and I'm going to run it with everything I've got. See, too many people are running with their head on a swivel, always looking to the left, to the right, watching what everybody else is doing. And the problem with that is when you spend your life watching others, you miss your own lane. You miss your own blessing. You miss your own breakthrough. That's why I tell people, put your blinders on, keep your head down, and grind with gratitude. Blinders are not about arrogance. They're about alignment. They are not about ignoring others because you think you're better. They are about locking in on your assignment and not allowing comparison or distraction to pull you off track. The most successful, impactful, disciplined people in the world have mastered the art of focus. They understand that clarity is power. And you cannot walk in clarity if you're always watching everyone else's path. You've got to decide that your race matters enough to protect it. And when I say keep your head down, I don't mean walk around with no confidence. I mean stop constantly needing to be seen. Stop performing for attention. Stop performing for attention. Stop pausing your grind every 5 minutes to check if somebody liked your post, commented on your progress, validated your decisions. Because the real work, it doesn't always get applause. The real growth, it usually happens in private. The real transformation, it happens when nobody's watching. And if you're always looking up, waiting for someone to recognize you, you'll never put in enough time to become the version of you that can handle recognition. When you keep your head down and grind, something amazing happens. You start building consistency. And consistency is what creates champions. Talent might get you noticed, but consistency is what makes you great. A lot of people have talent. A lot of people have dreams. But not everybody has the discipline to grind every single day, especially when no one is clapping. Especially when results are slow. Especially when it feels like nothing's working. But it's in those exact moments that your character is developed, your endurance is forged, and your vision is tested. Discipline is what separates those who wish from those who win. Wishing is emotional. Discipline is foundational. It means waking up early when you don't feel like it. It means showing up to your goals even when your motivation is gone. It means building a life not on how you feel, but on what you're committed to. And if you're always distracted, you can't be committed. You have to guard your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. And let's talk about the last part. Grind with gratitude. This is where so many people miss it. They grind, yes, they work hard. They push, but they're bitter. They're angry. They're frustrated that the process is slow. They're mad that they're not seeing what others are seeing. And that attitude is toxic. It'll poison your progress. Because when you grind from frustration, you're always chasing something you feel you lack. But when you grind from gratitude, you're working from a place of abundance. You're not angry. You're aware. You're not resentful. You're responsible. Gratitude shifts everything. It turns obstacles into opportunities. It turns pressure into perspective. It helps you appreciate the small wins while you work toward the big goals. And most importantly, it keeps your heart clean. It keeps your spirit light. Because no matter how disciplined you are, if your heart is heavy with envy, frustration, or bitterness, you'll burn out. You'll lose the joy. You'll start hating the very thing you once prayed for. So you gotta wake up and say, hey God, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for this day. I might not be where I want to be, but I'm on the way. I might not have everything yet, but I've got enough to get started. That's the mindset of a champion. That's the attitude of a finisher. That's what allows you to show up every day, not with entitlement, but with energy. Not with complaints, but with commitment. Because the grind is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to develop something in you. It's supposed to make you stronger, sharper, wiser. And when you pair that grind with a grateful heart, you become unstoppable. You don't just push through obstacles, you learn from them. You don't just survive tough seasons, you grow through them. But let me be clear, this kind of mindset doesn't come automatically. You gotta train it. You gotta feed it every day. You gotta be intentional about where you place your focus. That means watching what you consume, watching who you follow, watching the voices you allow into your life. Because if you're not careful, you'll start comparing again. You'll take your blinders off. You'll lift your head up and start checking to see how fast someone else is running. And before you know it, you've drifted off course. So protect your progress. Protect your peace. Protect your purpose. Put your blinders on. Focus on your goals. Grind like your legacy depends on it. It does. And do it all with a heart full of gratitude. Because no matter where you are, there's always something to be thankful for. Oh, the breath in your lungs, the lessons you've learned, the battles you've survived, the vision that still burns inside you. Don't take any of it for granted. You got something special in you. You got a fire, a dream, a calling, but it's going to take focus, discipline, and heart to bring it to life. This is your season to lock in. Not just talk about it, not just dream about it, but to actually grind for it, day in, day out. No excuses, no comparisons, just you, your purpose, and your God-given ability to rise, to grow, to become. So stop watching everybody else. Stop wondering if you're behind. Stop measuring your progress against someone else's timeline. Your journey is yours. Your race is yours. Your victory will be yours if you stay the course, if you keep your blinders on, if you keep your head down, if you keep grinding with gratitude, the applause will come. The recognition will come. But let that be a byproduct, not the motivation. The true reward is in knowing you didn't quit. You didn't fold. You didn't get distracted. You focused. You executed. You finished. So let's go. Lace up. Get focused. Stay locked in and run your race like your future depends on it, because it does. Blinders on. Head down. Grunt with gratitude. You got this.